The Philippines is one of my favorite countries in the world, and I've been traveling for 3 months in a total of 3 different times all around these islands. In this video, I'm gonna tell you everything I wish I knew before coming to the Philippines. I'm gonna start with safety. A lot of people are concerned about safety, and I would say for the most part I felt totally safe. The only moments where I actually felt there was a threat to my safety was actually physical safety when I went in Moalboal, this beautiful place, and I went snorkeling. The waters were very shallow, so I stepped my foot into the coral and I had a very bad wound. In the Philippines, in those remote places, there's not many hospitals around, so I somehow got access to these antibiotics, but hospitals are quite scarce. In terms of safety in the city, I've heard a lot about Manila being unsafe. Not all areas of Manila are unsafe. In fact, if you're staying in Makati or BGC, I've done videos about both places, you'll be pretty much safe. As long as you are streetwise, I guess Manila is not different from any other city in the world. Let's talk about when to visit. The best time to visit the Philippines is between November and March. That's the dry season. In the island of Siargao, however, the weather is switched. I spent a lot of time there when it was supposed to be rainy season in the Philippines, and I noticed that it never rained. The best time to visit is actually from March to October. Now let's talk accommodation. And my biggest advice would be to go to websites like Agoda. This is not sponsored, but they have amazing discounts all over Southeast Asia. And what I like about, websites like Agoda, but you should also, check the Booking, the Airbnb, all of the other platforms, is that you will have these last minute discounts, which can be 70-80% cheaper. I don't see this anywhere else in the world, but here in Southeast Asia, you can find hotels, really nice hotels, very discounted. And then, of course, I advise you to stay in hostels. There is many hostels I can recommend. Nacho Hostel in Cebu, it's so much fun and the community is amazing. The hostel, Friends Hostel in El Nido, it's also very good for community. If you're in Siargao, my favorite one is Ilacay. The people there are amazing, they have this outdoor gym. Now, as far as hotels, my comfort hotel in Manila, and I shouldn't say this because they're gonna raise the prices, but this is called the Mini Suites by Eton Towers in Makati, and I always stay there. The staff is incredibly friendly and it's so well located in Makati. The rooms are really small, that's why it's called the Mini Suites, but they have the best views and they are actually pretty affordable. For $30 a night US dollars, you'll have a stay in this hotel. In the island of Boracay, I'm staying also in a resort, which is always great, And this hotel right here is called Astoria Current. And yeah, I'm gonna show you the pool right now. This is the pool I have in front of my room. Pretty nice. Now let's talk about locals. The locals here in the Philippines are the most friendly people ever. You will make great friends here in the Philippines, I'm sure. They speak English, so if English is your main language, you won't have problems communicating here. They learn in school, so they will have very good English. And they are extremely helpful, so don't hesitate to ask for help. Now let's talk about connectivity and data. When I got here to the Philippines, I started using this SIM card called Smart. And even though it was good in some islands, in some others, there was just no internet at all. Some mobile carriers, include like Smart, Globe, they work on an island, and then in the other island, Globe is the one that works there. So I had to rely on my friends for internet. So if you want to avoid this situation, I would recommend you to get an eSIM. And the one that I've been using all around the world is called Fly. Is the one that I always recommend. They are amazing. I've tried them all around the world. And basically, it's so easy to install. You have a QR code. You install it in your phone. You don't need a plastic SIM card. You're ready to go with internet for your whole trip, even before you land in the new country, in this case the Philippines, but they have it in many countries around the world. I actually have a discount code if you want to check it out in the description down below. It's Fonsi Abroad, or you can use that link on the description. Now let's talk about food and Filipino food. I just love it. A lot of people have told me really bad things about Filipino food. Now here's the thing, you can get the traditional Filipino food or you can get the oily, greasy fast food. You have to make sure, if you want to have a good Filipino food experience, to go to the local places. And in places like Manila, it's harder. I would actually recommend you to get just international food, or maybe go to a traditional Filipino food restaurant that it's a little bit more upscale. But in the islands, you can get the best food for a very little price, and authentic Filipino food, that is. So, adobo, you have sisig. It's mostly meat-based, so maybe if you're vegetarian, like my friends Tim and Elise, it's not the most convenient always to find the vegetarian option, as it's very meat-reliant. I do eat meat, so I find it easier for me to find good dishes. Filipino food is just amazing. Whether it's meat or fish or anything, they have amazing dishes. So take a look at my video here if you want to know more about Filipino food. And now let's talk about remote islands. One of the best things about the Philippines is that, unlike other destinations where you have these white sand beaches and palm trees, the Philippines has many of those, but you will be by yourself. It has so many remote islands that you will be mind blown about how this is not crowded with thousands of people. Most people travel to Siargao, Nido in Palawan, Coron, which is also in Palawan, Boracay, which is the island that I am at right now. But if you want to be by yourself, go to places like Moalboal in Cebu. You can go to Siquijor, which is one of the best kept secrets in the Philippines, and it's so close to Cebu, so it's a little bit of a hassle to get there. It's not the easiest, but it's not too far, and you will have beaches like white sand beaches, very remote, all by yourself. Also, in islands like Palawan, which are very crowded, there are very remote places. You can meet the Batak tribe, which, if I have posted it, there is a video that I'm working on. Maybe it's already out, and this was such a good encounter, such an amazing and wonderful encounter with one of the indigenous tribes of the Philippines. Oh, amazing. Like, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, and I don't know if a lot of people have done that. Then there's places like Puerto Princesa or Port Barton, which are, in my opinion, almost as striking as the places you'll find in El Nido, but they are completely remote. They are not in the tourist radar. You can skip the crowds and you will have them again for yourself. Now, my next advice would be not to skip Manila. And I've done a whole video about this concept of don't avoid Manila, but it's actually true. It's a great city. If you like big cities, definitely you will like this one. I would recommend you to stay in Manila for a few days when you arrive, maybe on the middle of your trip. And if you stay in Manila, stay either in Makati or BGC. Those are very, upscale neighborhoods, so convenient, so comfortable to stay at. And yes, they may be a little bit more pricey than some of the provinces, some of the islands, but it's just, it's a big city, so it's understandable, and those are the best neighborhoods on those big cities. For the value of places you can get, it's actually a steal. Restaurants and hotels are still way cheaper than most, European and American cities. Now, one big advice would be to book your flights in advance. And I can't stress this enough, you can book hotels last minute and you will actually have some deals, but that doesn't happen with flights. Unlike in other countries where this could be an option, in the Philippines, prices go up a lot. Even, from a flight that could be $20, you could be paying $150. So make sure to book those in advance. And my favorite way to do it is with search engines. It could be Skyscanner or Kiwi.com or any of those. Use them And make sure to be a little bit flexible with dates. If you do it with time, you'll find the deals anyways. And try to fly to main spots, let's say, Cebu, Siargao, Manila, and Palawan would be like the main bases, and then you can travel around the islands with ferries. Don't plan to go on huge trips with ferries, those are not that convenient and a little bit more scarce than you may think. If you've traveled to other countries around Southeast Asia, in this case, in the Philippines, ferries are a little bit more complicated. But if it's a short ferry ride, that should be fine. So if you're traveling, let's say to Cebu, all of the islands around, like Siquijor, Bohol, those are accessible with ferries. You should definitely visit the Philippines. It's one of my best countries, my favorite countries in the world. And I hope this video was useful. Make sure to subscribe, give a like, and I'll see you guys on the next adventure.